watched Alfie Days. I know, I've not watched Alfie Days since I was a teenager. I used to be obsessed with Zoella and Alfie. My friend actually met them. She got them to send a video to me saying like, "Hi Laura, like hope you're okay, like hope you do well," which I was absolutely fangirling over. Anyways, besides the point, I think it's called 3 Lessons I've Learned in My 10-Year Relationship. I watched the first half where they're talking about it together, like him and Zoe. I thought it was really beautiful. I related to a lot of the things that he was saying and what he thinks is so important to like build a healthy relationship that can stand the test of time. I'm not sure what I'm going to title the video yet, but I want to talk about how to build like a healthy relationship and how to build and maintain like healthy romantic relationships. I've only had one relationship in my life, like long-term relationship, which is the one I'm in right now. But yeah, I just feel like the relationship I'm in right now is a healthy one. So for context, I've almost been with my boyfriend for 2 years now, which I don't know, some people would say that's a long time, some people would say that's nothing, but I feel like that's a fairly long time compared to some of the very short situationships that I've had in the past. I want to say that my general like consensus, is that the thing, is that a relationship should feel easy, and I don't want to disregard the effort and the sacrifices and the hardship that relationships go through, because what I'm saying is relationships aren't supposed to be perfect, but I do believe they're meant to be easy, because I'm in a relationship right now and it is easy to be with this person. Like we just work really well together, you know, it's smooth, it feels like easy, like it flows, you know, it feels natural, it feels right, do you know what I mean? And that is a feeling rather than something I can explain. So I would say look out for that. But that is not to say that you will always agree on everything and that you will never argue and that things won't sometimes feel hard. Me and my boyfriend have had many a difficult conversation. You know, you have to remember that you are 2 separate people and that you won't always agree and you won't always have the same opinions on things. But that leads me to my next point. I think it's fundamental to a long-term relationship to have or share the same values, like core values and beliefs. So like one example is I believe that there's more to this world and this life than meets the eye, in terms of like, I think very deeply about like I think so deeply, I really don't, it's not that deep. I used to be a lot more into it, to be fair, than I am now. But like I believe that like women, we're connected to the moon and that, you know, there's different dimensions and stuff, and like I'm very much big on energies and walking into a room and feeling energies, you know, I'm an empath. Like I believe, you know, opening windows after having a really difficult conversation is a good idea, kind of thing. If I was to be with someone who listened to me talk about that and thought, what the hell are you on about? Like I do not believe in that. I don't know what kind of witchery you're on, but it's not adding up for me. Doesn't this look like a little acorn? It's so cute. What I'm saying is my boyfriend and me share quite similar views on that kind of thing, which enables us to have really long conversations about these things because we both get it, you know, we're on the same page. That is my next point. So checking in with each other and regularly is so important. I'm not very big on like schedules and like routines. I find that I don't really like that. It's also a bit of a trigger for me for different reasons. I think it's so important to check in with each other and, like I said before, like having those difficult conversations. You know, if something's bothering you, bring it up. These are all traits of like 2 secure people, so it can be difficult. I feel like this is why so many people have failed relationships, or I don't want to say failed relationships because I don't think breaking up with someone is a failure, but you know what I mean, you know, relationships come to an end, I feel, because a lot of the time you've got 2 people who don't know how to communicate. You know, to have a healthy, long-lasting relationship, you need to build that security in your relationship. You don't have to be perfect, secure humans. Like I used to be kind of obsessed, I still am a little bit, but I used to be a bit obsessed with like attachment styles and like trying to become more secure and stuff, and thinking that I couldn't have like healthy, loving relationships unless I was this secure human being with no holes, you know what I mean? But that's simply just not true. If you're with someone that you love and who loves you very much, you will give each other the space to make mistakes. That's another good point. I always say I've got really great points, but I do. Make room for each other to make mistakes. This doesn't include cheating or bullying or abuse or any of that kind of stuff. The reality is, like, whoever you're with, no matter how compatible you are, there's going to be situations where they might say something or they might do something that you just simply don't like, or it's made you uncomfortable, or it's triggered you in some way. And whether it's something they needed to do differently or you needed to kind of work on in yourself to not feel triggered by whatever just happened, you need to have that difficult conversation. So it's important for you to know what you're thinking and how you're feeling, and then trying to, you know, relay this back to my partner. You can be in a very secure place yourself, and you can kind of approach your partner and talk to them or interact with them in a very healthy way. But if that person is not willing to do the same with you, they continually, you know, disrespect you or repeat behaviors that you're not okay with, and you know, when you find yourself repeating conversations and arguments and you really truly feel that you're bringing everything you can to the relationship, unfortunately that can be a problem for a lot of people. It might get to a point where you have to kind of decide, okay, is this really a relationship that I want to be in? You know, because as much as I'm all for like working through things and not giving up in relationships, sometimes people are just not meant to be together, and it can be really difficult to accept that. And at the end of the day, you can't really change people. If there's something that just doesn't sit right with you about a person and you're kind of trying to mold them and change them to what you want them to be, that's never gonna end up good. That's never gonna end up the way that you want it to end up, if that makes sense. There's too much resistance there. There's too much of you wanting this person to be something else, which in a way isn't fair as well on the other person, because I believe that there'll be someone out there for them that likes the way they are and that, you know, they mesh well together, and then there's someone else out there for you who you mesh better with, and you don't constantly feel the need to change that person. I do think this is a lot more complicated than people maybe portray at times. There can be so many different answers, you know, because people can, you know, sabotage relationships and make problems where there aren't problems, which I used to do a lot. So that doesn't necessarily mean you're not meant to be together. Sometimes it's just a case of like you're not in a healthy place yourself to have that relationship, and you guys might have worked out and you might have been great together, but at the end of the day you're just not in a place to sustain that relationship, which is absolutely fine. You know, that's all part of life too. I think we've all been in situations where we really like someone and we put everything into that person, and we just come back every single time and they hurt us and we come back. We're just trying to make it work. We try to excuse a lot of the behavior. What I'm saying is that we can make a relationship up in our heads when it's so one-sided. It's not even a relationship. They're not giving anything to that relationship. You can feel that and you know that, but somehow you still want to pursue the relationship. It's a lot about self-worth. It's a lot about knowing who you should give your energy and time to. But yeah, we're going off topic here. I could talk about this for hours and days, but I feel like I've said quite a few things now. But I feel like those are the fundamental things that you should carry with you through a relationship and kind of remind yourself of when things maybe get tough, or if you just want to prepare yourself to be with someone for a long amount of time. Ask yourself, does it feel easy? Does it feel like we flow? Does it feel like there's a level of smoothness there to our relationship, to the dynamic? Like, if so, great start. Am I able to fill my cup up first before, you know, they come and overflow my cup? Because that's how I see it. That's how I feel like we should do things. You know, am I in a position to give myself the love and the attention that I deserve? Am I able to be an anchor in the relationship if it comes to it, you know? And am I able to have an open and honest and difficult conversation with this person, and are they able to relay that back to me as well? But yeah, I just want to finish this video off by saying none of us are perfect. We are human beings. We're all just trying to have a good time. Yeah, don't beat yourself up about your relationships. Be patient, be kind with yourself and with your partner, whilst also being able to stand up for yourself, and knowing whether to stay or leave is so important. Educating yourself on what a healthy relationship is and what an unhealthy relationship is so important, you know, especially for those of us in relationships for the first time. If you've never been in I don't want to say proper relationship, but if you've never been in a serious relationship before, I think it's especially important for us to remind ourselves of these things, because we have no or little previous experience over what a relationship should and shouldn't be. I think I'm going to make a video, I am going to make a video on that as well, specifically navigating your first relationship and how to know what's what's normal and what's not, because I've had to, you know, learn that the hard way. But yeah, thank you for once again tuning in, or if this is the first time you are seeing me on your screen, like and subscribe if you feel like it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys. Bye.